sinners, and saints. Dust off those horns and halos. It's time for Alan After Dark.
I don't know. Should I? Hey, sinners and saints and bitches and taints. How y'all doing? I hope you're feeling well and sexy and horny if you want to be. I hope you're feeling pussy or etc. Whatever. I'm a little distracted. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to wear to Bear Night tonight. And I'm looking at some shirts here, some of my shirts. I don't know, do I want to be kind of witty and fun? I have this t-shirt that says, "If only I had money instead of this giant dick." Should I wear that, or should I just go my traditional route with my V-neck shirt and tight jeans? I kind of want to wear leather and maybe a muscle shirt to show off my tats. I'm not sure. There's an irony there, though, isn't it? If I wear leather and I need to shaving for a bear night, you're supposed to be as hairy as possible, right? But there I go again, stereotyping our own communities. We don't have to be any of those things. If you're a bear, you're a bear. If you're a twink, you're a twink. If you're a cum-guzzling slut, so be it. Right? Right. I probably should be more concerned about my nose hairs than anything else. Jesus Christ, how in the hell do they grow so long and are so stubborn to get out of there? If I could get a lawnmower up in there, maybe that would work. Of course, my nose is big enough, isn't it? You know what they say about having a big nose. It means I have a big floppy pancreas. Shout out to Golden Girls on that one. Holla. It feels like it's going to be a crazy weekend. There's a lot of weird things happening. There's a lot of energy. And it seems like just the turning of the calendar to August, we're closer to October and Halloween, which is, well, it seems to me in the gay community, Halloween is one of the most popular holidays. It's certainly my favorite holiday. I just love seeing people dressed up and great costumes and all kinds of themes and wild, crazy, sexy, scary, funny. I just eat that up. I just think it's so much fun. However, this year I'm a little bit more on the nervous and scared side because right after that, within a week, we have the most important election that we will ever see possibly in our lifetime in the USA. If the United States goes the wrong route, goes backward again, I don't even know that there'll be a country left in a year, much less 4. But there are some really good positive signs that the tide is turning and we may see positive change moving forward because none of us want to go back. Have I told you that here in Tennessee that in a club, if you're a guy, you cannot show your nipples? So one of the reasons why I'm even hesitant to wear my leather is because it'll be under my shirt anyway. I can wear a button up and slightly expose it, but there was an ordinance here in the city that I live in. Well, not the city, the county has an ordinance that forbids men from being topless, basically, in a bar. And I can tell you that they do enforce it. All it takes is one person calling the authorities, and a bar can lose their liquor license for a couple of weeks, a week, a month, several months, or maybe forever, just for that. A few years ago, it was perfectly fine. On bear nights, you would see half the bears that were at the club just wearing their leather harnesses and things with their chests showing and everything. But now you can't do that. Arguably, if you wear pasties over your nips, you can do that. But think about how ridiculous that is. But it's one of those things that they use to try to target a gay club. Like I said, it is a county ordinance, not the city. The city is as liberal and democratic as possible. The county is as right-wing and bigoted as possible. and they try to usurp authority over the city with things like this. And of course, we have city police and you have county police, but the sheriff is the sheriff over everything, even the chief of police, apparently. So we have those kinds of frustrations. So even in my thinking about what to wear, going to a gay club in this area, you have to be mindful of things like that, that there are ordinances and things targeting primarily gay clubs. I mean, it applies to any club, but where else are you going to possibly see men without their shirts on? There's a couple of straight bars that used to have male strippers, but I think that's all gone away now, because why would they come here if they're having to pasty their nipples? I mean, think about that for a minute. But I'm a believer that if you're a woman, you should be able to show your breasts out there and on the open. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? All these hang-ups over the natural body. Now, granted, for mine, you all would be throwing up when you saw it. It works better than pepper spray to repel people. So maybe there are a few that we don't want to see for aesthetic purposes, but still, I like the sense of freedom. I don't know if I ever told you this. Years ago, at the club that I've described that has the sunk-in dance floor, back in the heyday of the dance clubs around here, in the summertime, all the guys, we would have our shirts off when we're dancing. You would always put them back on when he left the dance floor, but when we're dancing, the shirts were off. One night, one of the girls dancing on the floor, she was hot like we were, and she took off her top and she had a sports bra on underneath. Well, here comes security, and they get in her face and tell her that she has to put her top back on. Finally, it was us gay men who got between them and said, hell no, we've got our shirts off. You're going to make us put ours back on? She's not showing anything. It's a sports bra. It's the same thing as a tank top. She does not have to put that back on, and we're not putting hers back on. Finally, the security walked away, and we cheered and applauded. I think just because they realized how silly it was for them to do that. Now, had they said, well, we have undercover police here and they're getting ready to ticket us or pull our license, then we would have all put them back on right away. But they didn't say that night. You know, I've told you before, at that club, once a month, the police would raid. They would come in with their mask on and their gloves just to harass. They never found anything worth anything, but they came in to harass the club and the club goers at least once a month. It just fucking sucked. But when you had a homophobic mayor who was secretly a cross-dresser, don't tell anybody, he just had to try to cover his tracks by saying he was really being anti-gay by ordering the raids on the club. That motherfucker. And yes, he was one of those right-wing Republicans, closet Republicans. Did you all hear that at the Republican National Convention up in Milwaukee that it nearly shut down the Grindr hookup app? It was overloaded with so many people they could hardly keep up with the traffic on it. Does that surprise any of us, though? Bunch of closet-case bigots who hate themselves more than anybody and project all that hatred out in the world just to cover their secrets. Bitches. Lord, sinners and saints, I gotta tell you, I need to get laid. I am so horny. What was that? Did I just hear people vomiting all the way around the world? I think I just did. Scary picture, isn't it? I wonder, what do you all think I look like? I don't do publicity much for the podcast. I don't share pictures of myself. I know a lot of you know me, my friends that listen and such. You know what I look like. But those of you in Romania, in Russia, in Australia, in Mozambique, in Singapore, in England, in Scotland, in Wales, in Ireland, in France, in Germany, I wonder what you all think I look like. Do you remember the DJ that did American Top 40, Casey Kasem? Did he not have one of the most beautiful voices for radio? But when you finally saw the person behind the voice, weren't you shocked? I was. I just didn't expect that voice to be attached to that man. But what a lush, velvety voice that was so good to hear on the radio. I guess you can tell that I was a fan. It's a funny thing to say that you're a fan of someone's voice, isn't it? I'll tell you this based on my quote-unquote friend's description. They would describe me as probably a cross between Uncle Fester from the Addams Family, Curly from the Three Stooges, and or Mr. Clean. But anyway, this is really scattered tonight, and I apologize. Well, no, I don't. Like I've said before, if you were really wanting Shakespearean theater, you'd be listening to NPR, not Alan After Dark. But it feels like a really chill night just for us to relax and enjoy the evening and just looking forward to an adventure. I plan on doing some flirting tonight. I think there'll be a couple of hot guys that are out, maybe some new guys, and I'm really looking forward to it. I am dreading some drama because there always seems to be some cattiness these days with the bears around here, but that's okay. When we discovered one of them was a Trumper, that caused all kinds of conflict, but, we'll get through it. We will. I am really beginning to believe that gay Republicans, and I use that term with confusion, I do believe more and more that that is actually a beard, another way to hide who they are. The log cabin Republicans, I think they're almost defunct now because they are constantly insulted by the Republican Party, but they won't talk about the issues that affect them directly. They only want to talk about tax cuts and deregulation, as if you can separate your identity from those two issues. But I've got news for all of them that identify as a gay Republican and maybe a Trump supporter. It doesn't matter if they're tax cuts and deregulation, if they're regulating who you can marry, who you can live with, who can be fired for just being gay. None of that other stuff matters if they can control every aspect of your daily life. That's why I've always been so confused by them, because they'll want to talk about tax cuts, but what's the point? Okay, yay, you got a tax cut, but they've nullified your marriage. They've reintroduced discriminatory policies, allowing private businesses and public businesses to fire you just for being gay. They could remove all legal protections of married gay couples. I guess you would just say, well, yay, I've still got my tax cut, woohoo. I guess they've got me started because I had that experience with the bear that was a Trumper, and it just shocked me beyond belief that they could be a supporter of someone who is a felon, a rapist, a liar, and let's be honest, an absolute idiot. I mean, has he ever put together a coherent sentence or a statement that makes sense? Ever? I have never heard him. It's all just a bunch of jargon, word salad, and racism, of course. He must have the smallest penis, well, according to Stormy Daniels, he does, in the world. What else could explain his attitude? So much hatred. I guess it is a little bit Freudian on his dad's side. His dad apparently loathed him and mentally abused him so that he's carried it on into his life. But, with everything in the world that's going on and the dark times, the fear that we have, there is one thing that we all know that happens to each and every one of us, good people and bad people. We all die, guaranteed. Nobody's come up with a way to get around that. So at some point in the future, some of these problems will take care of themselves. We just have to hope that there's not another lunatic psycho. Who am I kidding? There's millions of them, aren't there? For every one Simone Biles, there's one Margarine Twatter Grown. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Jesus Christ, why the fuck did I bring up that stupid name? I don't know. I guess I'm just running rampant here in my brain. It's like hamsters in there running in their little loop wheel thing that's running my brain right now. I'm sitting here still looking at shirts, deciding on what I want to wear, and I figured it out. And no, I'm not telling. You'll just have to see me for yourself after a while. And John, if you're listening, you better have my shot on the bar and my drink ready for me when I get there, because I have a feeling it's going to be one hell of a night. You know, I did have a topic to discuss tonight. I just seem to have lost that whole situation. And I think that's what makes Alan After Dark more unique, is that whatever comes up, comes up. I don't have a script. I don't really follow any of the rules of podcasting. I just like hanging out with you guys and chilling and expressing myself, and sometimes being angry, sometimes being high and chill and laid back, sometimes being drunk, most of the time being horny. It's just something that I've still enjoyed doing, and as long as you guys are listening, I'll keep doing it until I'm dead, probably. Well, no, I won't last that long. Anyway, do you think Trump's vice presidential pick? I have a feeling, well, he said he used to be gay and now he's not. What was that guy's name that was a congressperson from New York who got thrown out of Congress? He's facing all those charges. What is his name? Santos or something like that? What I don't know. Anyway, J.D. Vance, which isn't his name, by the way. He has had his name changed like 3 or 4 times. Funny, he's allowed to pick a chosen name, but they will attack a transgender person for using a chosen name instead of their birth name. Funny that, isn't it? But yeah, he seems to use more eyeliner than any drag queen that I know. I don't know what to think of him other than his bigotry. It just seems so blatantly ugly, everything about him. And I don't know about you guys, but the thought of his children being raised in that kind of environment, he has to be raising them to be haters of other people, even though they're biracial and will face discrimination from their parents' political party. In the Democratic Party, you're all welcome with open arms, but in theirs, you have to be almost a pure race. If they didn't say they were Republicans, you would swear they were Nazis. But here I go again. And I thought this episode was going to be talking about dick. Well, we have talked about some dick, right? Yeah, I mentioned dick earlier, didn't I? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Where's my drink? Oh, here it is. Who knows where this episode's going to wind up? I think we're just getting started, if y'all haven't turned it off already. Oh, damn, look at the time. I got to get ready for happy hour and bear night. I tell you what, I'll see you on the flip side. Well, sinners and saints, here we are, post-bear night. I gotta tell you, it wasn't the best, that's for sure. Yeah, there was a little drama. There was a little bit of cliquish people over here and cliquish people over there. But I was with my posse. We were at the bar hanging out with John. It was okay. And you can hear it in my voice. I might be still a little buzzy, but I'm not drunk or anything. Just my standard bitterness. It always interests me how people that don't like you try to make sure that you know that they still don't like you, even if the not liking part started 15, 20 years ago. There's lots of people who believe in revenge and getting back at people and being vindictive, and maybe we all are a little bit, but I just gotta say, for me, I think by just still being around, that's like my ultimate revenge. I really do think that some of the people that don't like me have wished that I was dead, and every time they come in and see me, they're like, damn, that bastard's still alive? How is that possible? Well, even I'll admit it's not from clean living, that's for sure. But you think about someone who lives to be 80, 85 years of age. They've obviously lived a pretty smart life. There's always a bit of luck, I guess, in that. I mean, you've managed to live that long without having a terrible accident or something go terribly wrong. You think about it, it's really amazing, isn't it? But there is a little bit of me that kind of scratches my head and thinks, well, damn, are they really wishing that I was dead? I never did anything that bad to them, except insulted them by telling them the truth, either about the clothes they were wearing, their hairstyle, or their makeup or something. Trust me, they deserved it when I told them.
I don't like you. I don't like you at all.
And we've had that discussion before, haven't we? Don't ask me for an honest opinion if you don't want an honest opinion. If you want me to lie, I can do that. Jesus, who can't do that? But all in all, we have another bear night in the books. And, it was fair to partly cloudy. It wasn't anything to write home about, that's for sure. Not a single dick. Well, there was one there that I would have jumped on, but he's off limits. And that's fine too. You know, that little taste of forbidden fruit, that sweetest taboo, that lust you feel knowing that that's out of reach, kind of increases your horniness, doesn't it? It does for me. And who knows? One of these days, I may get to take a bite out of that big old forbidden fruit. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Alan After Dark. I know it's been a wild and crazy ride, really fucked up. But you had fun, right? Surely you did. Remember, take life by the balls and be real. We'll see you soon. Oh, and just an FYI, I didn't wear leather tonight.